Okay, so yeah, as discussed, today's topic will start with the builder pattern, right? Because we kind of saw that yesterday in our when we were sort of inspecting Ockham, we saw that there's a node builder thing, and that's building an executor, providing a context, etc. And I mentioned that this builder pattern is sort of very pervasive in Rust. A lot of projects sort of use it, and it's actually a design paradigm, right?
Yeah.
So Lavanya is going to be talking more about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Lavanya. Can you turn your camera on? Yeah.
No.
People might want to see you in the future as well, right?
Is that good?
That's perfect. Go.
Okay. So there's a small piece of code about the server, which I've taken as the example to explain this build-up pattern. So, 1 second. Basically, the build-up pattern comes into picture when we have a lot of complicated data structures. They can get complicated because of number of reasons, like I mentioned here. There might be a large number of inputs, or the data might be compound, or we might have to optionally configure the data, or we have to choose between several fields. So in such cases, like how I'll show in the program, it becomes difficult to keep on adding new function because there is something in Rust called as we can't overload the function. So we have to keep on constructing a new constructor. So that gets tedious. So we use something called build-in pattern to overcome that problem.
All right.
So
Everybody got that part about overloading?
Yeah.
Here I've taken a structure. I've made the structure as public, but the contents of it is private only. So I have few parameters, few fields, host, port, TLS, hot reload, and timeout. So in the implementation part of the server, I have to keep creating new function, new constructs. I have in the first function called as new. I can see what host I want to set and port. But these TLS, hot reload and timeout, the default set to none, false, and timeout is 2000 milliseconds. So if I want to configure the TLS part, I have to create another function called TLS new. And here I can configure the TLS part. Host and port will be whatever the default, and hot reload and timeout will become false and 2000. So here I have another advanced new function where I can set TLS is the optional parameter, rest I can set. So I have to keep on adding a new constructor every time if I have to implement the server, and that part becomes complicated. So in the main, I have one basic server to implement the server part, and I have one TLS server, and I have a fully configured server here. This will return the instance, that particular instance, whatever the parameters are there, it will return that. So to avoid this, I have to create another implementation of the server block. Yeah. So here
You want to uncomment that?
Yeah. If I uncomment that, I will delete this part.
Comment that.
Okay. So in the implementation server part, I have a new server called server builder, and I have initialized all the parameters, set all the parameters. Host and port will be the ones that I can change, and TLS or reload and timeout will be set to none by default. So I have another structure called server builder, and here all of these three parameters have the option, and these two will be whatever we've set. In the implementation part, I have one function called TLS, and this is going to take, this is a method TLS, and this is going to return either the sum variant or it is going to return itself. So same is for the hot reload and timeout. Both of them are going to return the sum variant. And in the build part, I have one server, and here I can either return the self or I can unwrap. The default will be 2000, or this hot reload also can unwrap. But in the main function, this is the main for the builder pattern part. Here I have one basic server instance, one TLS and one fully configured server. Here we can see how lengthy this is, this part, this function name part. I have to write each method for whatever particular feature I want to configure, but here I have to write only one line and I can build. In the server builder part, it is going to return that particular instance. So if we want to avoid this, there's also a create available called derived builder. We can use that. And there is also two types in this. One is the non-consuming builder, where it doesn't transfer the ownership, and the other one is the consuming builder. So here it transfers the ownership, and it has to take it. These are the two types.
Makes sense. I think that was good. Questions? So effectively, here's what I understood. The builder pattern is basically when you have complex data structures in memory, instantiating those data structures becomes a pain.
Yeah.
Right? They have a number of fields in them. You might want to, like, I don't want these fields. I just want to focus on these fields. I want this instance. Right? It becomes tedious. It becomes a pain. So the builder pattern allows you to basically use another type called the builder of the type you're interested in, and then sort of, use the rusty way of calling dot this dot this build.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So give me that. I don't have to like call a number of different, like instantiate it a number of different times. Right? That is the builder pattern. It's a design paradigm in Rust.
Yeah.
And the reason, as Lavanya mentioned, is because you can't overload your. What does overload basically mean? You're trying to take something and make it mean two things. Right? Overloading the meaning of something.
Yeah.
Right? It basically means that and you basically rely on the compiler or in other languages, the interpreter to figure it out. What am I trying to say? I can, for the same function, I can have variable number of arguments. Right? And in one case I will use 3, in the other case I'll use 4, but I'm calling the same function. Sort of overloading what's happening over there, and that's not supported in Rust because Rust is strongly typed, right? And that's why this design pattern has become very useful and pervasive. Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I haven't seen that example where you are using builder pattern in main.
Lavanya?
Builder pattern in main?
Yeah.
You mean before builder pattern, after builder pattern?
This here is basic.
That's the implementation.
Okay.
And here on this side.
Server builder.
Yeah.
Okay, it is
Basic server builder.
And on that basic server. That server new method is returning a server builder, right?
Yeah.
And where are we actually getting the server?
When you actually build a server builder, go to the definition of server builder or the yeah. So in the server builder, you have all these options, right? Now the server builder's implementation is such that if you look at the implementation of server builder, just scroll down a little bit.
TLS build.
Right? When you build, you're returning a server.
Right.
So it's like this: set option, set option, set option, set option, set option, then build. Right? The build method returns the actual instance you're interested in.
We'll add one more method which will simplify it.
Yeah, you're adding another type to build the actual
Complex
type the complex data structure.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? No. All right. Thank you, Lavanya. Very good job. Yes, please stop. Yeah. Pause recording.